Subaru Outback. If you need a rugged estate, then this is now just about the only game in town. Design and styling. If you have only been keeping half an eye on Subaru's model range in recent years, your first reaction might be, isn't it a legacy Outback? Indeed, it was first launched in 1994, as the more adventurous version of the legacy estate. Technically, that is still true, although the standard legacy saloon is no longer offered in Europe, and the estate fell by the wayside a few generations ago. Modern Subarus are meant to be no-nonsense, focusing on safety, reliability, and functionality, and that is reflected in the exterior design. You might call it adventurous in the sense that the tall ride height, plastic cladding, and sump guards will allow it to go on outdoor adventures, but the fundamental estate shape and treatment of the light units is about as conventional as it gets. While Subaru has had to team up with Toyota to develop the BRZ and the Solterra, its first EV, the brand remains fiercely independent, with its bread-and-butter combustion cars. As such, the Outback shares its Subaru global platform with its Forester SUV and 15 lifted hatchback rangemates. The firm prides itself on offering four-wheel drive as standard, calling it symmetrical all-wheel drive because of the horizontally opposed four-cylinder engine and the equal-length driveshafts. Subaru's system is more serious than most in this class, but it's still no Ineos Grenadier. Instead of a center differential, it uses a wet clutch pack. However, unlike most systems in this class, which wait until the sensors detect slip before they send torque to the rear axle, Subaru keeps the clutches partially engaged at all times so that it defaults to a front-biased 60/40 torque split. It can also be varied depending on the conditions and the driving mode the car's in. European market Outbacks are always powered by a 2.5-liter engine with direct injection that does without turbocharging or hybrid assistance. That relative simplicity is unusual these days, and even somewhat surprising because Subaru does have other solutions on the shelf. The Forester uses Subaru's own e-boxer system, while Outback buyers in other markets have the option of a 2.4-liter turbo engine. While the 2.5 is not a completely new development, Subaru claims that 90% of components are new or redesigned compared with the previous generation. It also has a higher compression ratio than previous iterations, at 12.0:1 versus 10.3:1. The net result? It makes 5 bhp less. With 167 brake horsepower at a fairly lofty 5,000-5,800 RPM, it's certainly no powerhouse, particularly in the context of a car that weighed 1,690 kilograms on Millbrook Proving Ground scales. Interior. Step into the Outback and you would be forgiven for thinking you've gone back to 2010. Apart from the fairly large portrait-oriented central touchscreen, the interior layout, design and material choices feel almost willfully outmoded. Then again, that could be the point. Like cargo trousers, with lots of pockets, the Outback is meant to be comfy and practical, rather than trendy. And comfy it certainly is. The leather seats are soft and broad, and almost every surface you might touch is covered in soft leather-like material. The vibe isn't particularly original, and the Outback also doesn't hit you over the head with overtly practical storage solutions, but you can't knock the functionality. What you need is all there. The cubby under the armrest is fairly deep, there are 2 cup holders, and a padded trough that disappears into the center stack is ideal for sliding your phone into. Engines and performance. Subaru's chosen mechanical specification of a 167 brake horsepower naturally aspirated boxer engine, coupled to a CVT makes the Outback quite a reluctant performer. As long as you adjust your driving style to suit the car, it can be adequate and indeed quite relaxing. The CVT is programmed so that under moderate acceleration, it will keep the engine at about 3,000 RPM. This means that, so long as you're not in a hurry, the engine stays relatively quiet, and you can mooch about, unperturbed by gear changes. The problem is that sometimes, you just want to make a bit of progress, or you need to merge onto a busy motorway. Then it quickly becomes apparent that 167 brake horsepower isn't very much in a 1,690 kilograms car. Our test car managed to shave 4/10 off its quoted 0 to 62 miles per hour time, taking a still unimpressive 9.8 seconds. The CVT does its best. If you floor it, it will hold the revs in the band where the engine makes maximum power, but for anything less it will engineer in some gear changes. They don't feel contrived, it's just the gearbox limiting the noise whenever it can. The Outback is rated to tow 2,000 kilograms, and we suspect that would be a tall ask for this engine. In the US, the same unit makes 15 brake horsepower more, and buyers have the option of a 260 brake horsepower 2.4-liter turbocharged version, which sounds like a more appropriate power plant for this car. So friends, that's our short discussion this time. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comments and share for other latest video updates. Thank you.